Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Hey, there we are. Boy, that was just like being in the movies. You know, they tell you that the movie time is at 8 o'clock, but really the movie don't start till about 8:10, 8:11. So that makes perfect sense since we're going to be talking about predominantly entertainment tonight and movies. So we got a little bit of late start. Hope everybody went out to the commissary and went out to the lobby, got their popcorn, got their drink. They drink on, they ready to go. So it's Tuesday. So this is Talk on Tuesday, Interludes Extra with the voice, Valarie Johnson. Good evening, Miss Johnson. How are you tonight?
I'm all right. I think.
You all right?
I think I'm all right. I'm like,
You all right?
what's
You
going on?
all right?
I'm like, what's his
Need to
name?
worry about you.
I'm like, with Matthew McConaughey from the movie. All right, all right, all right.
Oh yeah, Matthew McConaughey, who will not be the next governor of Texas, as we understand. Apparently, he likes weed more than he likes Texas,
Oh
which I can't
wow,
understand.
that is something I don't know. I'm gonna take care of some business. We're in the last episode of November, but it is brought to you by Coach Glass. It's never too late for you to create the life of your dreams. Please feel free to visit coachglass.com to book your free assessment right now. This is Talk on Tuesdays
See your way
after.
to a better life through glass.
This is Talk on Tuesdays after Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, Mr. Wamble?
How was my Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was thankful. I was thankful for Thanksgiving. It provided a very necessary break. Um, got to talk to be with family. Very good, good time. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was fun. I'm still paying the price of it because my throat is a little scratchy from all of the yelling I did at the bowling alley. I was so happy to be out of the house.
So you actually had a real turkey ball for Thanksgiving.
In a roundabout way, yeah, I did. Except the bowl was a bowling ball with no cutter.
Did you bowl a turkey?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'd imagine if you bowl a turkey around Thanksgiving, they have like a cool graphic that goes up. I
I
would guess
know, I
for
know,
that.
I know, and I kept bowling. Um, I had a goal in mind that I wanted for my bowling score, but I didn't come close to it. But it's okay. But yeah, I'm this is the remnants. Now we started several movies when I was sitting down with the fam, but then more people came in and it was hey, it's so good to see you. Hey. And we started King Richard twice. We started Bruised twice. There was a bunch of films we tried to watch. So a lot of things that I was trying to catch up with, I finished today. Like let's say the I didn't know it was a series when I downloaded True Story. I thought it was a movie like Bruce with Halle
Yeah.
Berry. I thought that was a movie, but then
Uh-huh.
I saw the first episode on the flight back, and I was like, "Oh, this is a series." And I'm gonna be mad at Wesley Snipes this entire time. Yeah. So, Michael, let's just get right into it. True Story. What
Now,
you
were
think?
you mad at Wesley because of his monochrome clothes that seemed to blend in with his skin, where you couldn't tell where the clothes ended and his face began? Was that the reason? Were you
I
mad at him because he looked like your great uncle, one of your great uncles, somebody's great uncle, or just
No,
uncle? Just
no,
pretty much, it was Uncle Wesley in the story. I guess that makes Kevin Hart seem younger. I don't
yeah,
know.
in a
Because
way.
Wesley Snipes seemed hella old in that, didn't he? Didn't he? I mean, he was drinking Hennessy, but he really should have been drinking Crown Royal or something, right? Or
No,
some
but see, I need you.
club or something.
I need you to not hate on the man. I need you to
I
not
don't
hate
hate
on
on
Mr.
you.
Wesley,
See, you
because
said you don't like it.
Wesley's looking sharp, man. He's looking sharp. He was the original Blade. You
He
understand what I'm
was. Now,
saying?
when was that, Val? Like 30 years
And
ago?
no, that was 23 years
Mm,
ago.
The 20 started climbing, huh? Yeah, he was the original black superhero.
I
Yeah,
know. Hey,
I give
Augustine.
him his props, but you know what? When we say you the first, that means we gotta get that date. Gotta start looking at that calendar from
So
way back.
what did you think of the film? Because this. I mean, not film. What did you think of the series? Because yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
that's a good way to put it.
Um,
You know what? Here's the thing, and I ain't just saying it because they all happen to be African American. I think that just happens to be just a coincidence. Everybody's chasing Eddie, huh? Like
pretty much.
to this
Yeah.
day, everybody wants to do what Eddie Murphy was able to do.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, to Eddie's credit, Richard Pryor tried to do it first, and I gotta say he wasn't as successful as Eddie Murphy was at it. But still, everybody's trying to. What I say when I mean that is this: I'm a comedian. I do comedy. To do the comedy, you have to be a good actor. I don't care what anybody says about it. They may not make the transition very well to movies, but to do comedy, do stand up, you are an actor. Okay, you just are. That's acting. So you can act. It's just a matter of, can we find the right like project, a vehicle, or movie to showcase all your talent. And
Yeah.
Eddie
So
Murphy jumped to the movies, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, he was hitting it. That was like Eddie Murphy in a movie being Eddie Murphy. And everybody has tried to do it since and has done it with lesser degrees of success. And here's the latest version of that. True story.
all right. So here's my question to the chat: have you seen or have you watched this series on Netflix called True Story? It is very interesting. I know that you're not a fan of Kevin Hart. I'm just going to say, but I am a fan of the two gentlemen that you
Oh,
see on
definitely. Yes,
screen.
absolutely.
Now, I want to go ahead and just kind of highlight who I'm looking at right now. Okay, it's Wesley Snipes as Kevin Hart. They play brothers. There's Tawny Newsome and Theo Rossi. This gentleman
Theo
to the
Rossi.
yes, he really did his thing. And Will
Rossi is a
Catlett.
monster. He's a
Yes,
monster.
yes, these two gentlemen really made if people did great supporting roles that made the lead roles better, I would say yes. But if you don't watch True Story for Wesley or Kevin, watch it for these two gentlemen, because I'm in awe of their raw talent, and they've just been
Yes,
on a lot of
wow.
other stuff. Yeah, but it was an unrecognizable Billy Zane in the first episode too, right?
Oh, I recognize Billy Zane. Anybody that did that to Jack on that boat, I still remember them. I got a long memory on that one, buddy.
Wait a minute. Kevin, our moderator, said that Theo killed it. He did a
He's a
great
great
job.
actor. I mean, okay, so I mean, if you took pictures of his last couple of roles and put them back together, he's almost unrecognizable. He falls into that character, into his character. It's great. Hey, Val, was True Story set in Philadelphia?
I believe it was. And where is Kevin Hart from?
Could it be Philadelphia?
Oh my gosh, that is so correct. Like, I'm wondering how true is True Story? Because I kind of figure like Kevin did it close to his life, but then things that happened were just on the other side of
You think little Kevin Hart's got bodies out there?
he might. I don't know, but my thing is that this is let me warn everyone. True Story is not for the faint at heart, and it is not for people.
It's not a comedy.
It is not a comedy.
First
By
of all,
no means by no stretch of the imagination. It is not a thing. What is Augustine talking about? I'm a fan of Valarie's hair. What are you talking about, bro? What is he talking about? What is this?
Well, I mean, we can probably catalog these episodes by your hair. I mean, but I don't know. What is it? Is today a good day, bad day, medium day? What we got going?
It is a thank God I woke up today. That's what the day is. The thank God I woke up and I got my hands and I got hair, because it's called sometimes the hair products run out. What we gonna do? What we gonna do?
Hey, Val. Sometimes the hair runs out. Okay, that's how that goes.
Oh my gosh, here's Kevin. I was thinking the same thing. Was the movie a confession? I hope not. I really hope not. I think. What do you think?
Y'all think Kevin Hart's got bodies? I mean, really? Well, you think the Plastic Cup Boys putting in work?
And the Plastic Cup Boys ain't doing stuff like
Plastic
that.
Cup Boys putting in
for
work.
Kevin Tiny Hart, they ain't doing that. Come on, no.
You think you got Tiffany Haddish digging the holes, making them 6 feet deep, making sure they fall in?
No.
That's why she had to lead comment. She's too busy burying bodies for little Kevin Hart.
Yeah. So my thing is that the series is set up for you to fall into the rabbit hole, because you're going to stick around for all 7 episodes. They combine 2 episodes. The first episode is about an hour, and then the rest of them fall between 26 to 33 minutes. But you fall into the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I am so angry at Wesley as a brother.
What? Okay, so we just say anybody watching this knows whenever they watch this that we have not talked about this previously. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, we know what we're gonna talk about, but in detail right now, we have not talked about this. Wow, you figured it out in the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
I did.
All right, okay.
I mean,
it was kind of obvious.
It was. And my thing was,
you've seen it before, hadn't you? I feel like I've seen that plot before.
I did. But I'm so happy Wesley's working. Aren't you happy Wesley? Put it in the chat if you're happy to see Wesley Snipes working. Because remember, that poor child actually did a bid for not paying his taxes, or his accountants didn't pay his taxes. Something happened to that poor child when he was in jail. So I'm always happy when we can get to working. So
speaking of taxes, I mean, at some point we'll talk about the Beatles. I don't know if there are any Beatle fans out there, but I do want to mention that because it claimed 6 hours of my life over the weekend. Smash alert, hit the like button, please share, please. It's worth it.
Yeah, so I'm excited that Wesley is working. So that is the number one thing.
He could be doing so much more. You know what? Here's what I want to see. I want to see as these universes, develop the Marvel universe and the DC universe. I want to see Wesley coming back. Look, I don't think we've given away too much, but we know that Toby's coming back in some form. We know that a bunch of other people are coming back on the Marvel side.
I would love to see Spider-Man,
I would love to see as these universes come back. We actually recognize that Wesley was one of the first big screen, graphic novel superheroes out there. That Blade was literally killing it on the screen, right?
And you see what Augustine said.
Sequels. I mean, they were Blade sequels. I mean, are we gonna act like this didn't happen? Like Wesley Snipes wasn't like one of the kings of action films. I know there's a recent interview that he did. Trying to remember where I read it. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly where I read it. But at some point, he talks about the fact that they invited him to do some of the Expendable movies, and I think he may have done one, but he was like, "I'm a little young for that, huh? These guys around me are like in their 70s. I'm not in my 70s yet. I still got things to do.
My thing is that I was just happy to see him back. And Kevin says the Blade movies are a favorite.
Love
They're
the Blade
definitely
movies.
a fan favorite. And
Yeah.
Augustine also said that it's good to see him back. The one thing that I will say is that recently there have been several people that have, gone ahead and said, let's put you in the movie. The remake to Coming to America, I think Wesley Snipes was in that.
Yeah.
What was the other one? It was the Dolomite. That was Eddie Murphy.
Yes, he was very
well.
good. So those are two Eddie Murphy projects, and Wesley was in both of them. I think that's just like a big up, like it just acknowledge, I mean, Wesley was carrying movies at times. He was the lead, dog on the movies. It was like Wesley Snipes movie coming out. All right, we got to go see it. Hey, Val.
Yeah.
To this day, if you go into the casino, you know what you got to do.
What I gotta do?
You always bet on black. Mr. Wesley Snipes.
Well, now I was very impressed, and we heard about it back. Oh, wait a minute. If you have a favorite Wesley Snipes film, put it in the chat. Kevin has already jumped the gun and said Passenger 57.
Money Train for me, for obvious reasons.
Okay.
Money Train, along with the Blade movies, but Money Train.
For me, White Man Can't Jump and Jungle Fever.
Okay.
Those are my two.
See, yeah, that's why I said Money Train. Yeah, I gotta get a little bit. I want my toast in the toaster a little bit longer than Jungle Fever now.
Okay,
and
speaking of Jungle. And speaking of Jungle Fever, let me transition to who also starred in Jungle Fever as a crack addict. Well, now Halle Berry has stepped into the role of director. She's the lead actress in the movie. This isn't a series on Netflix called Bruised. It also premiered over the weekend. Michael, what were your thoughts on Bruised?
Wow. I can see why you stopped and started that one. Especially with family coming in. If you were trying to watch that and you had kids or anybody.
I had to because
she directed herself too. So she shot those scenes of her early on in the film. And was Van Hunt around? Was he watching? I mean, was he taking pointers? I mean, what was that?
So I remember thinking when I started the movie and there was kids in the room, I said, okay, well, this is something I'm going to have to wait for.
Pause.
Now, what I was very happy with after I got, over that part, the relationship between her and the young man in the movie, and they're on screen right now. Brilliant young actor. Halle's directing, Adrian Lennox, Leah Lowen, Adam Canton. I mean, just a really talented cast, and I was really happy. This young man did a really great job. He didn't speak at all, so I was just like, oh my gosh, you're not talking. But it was a very moving story, and Halle really got, as you can see, into shape to play this role. So
she's always been in this shape. She's been in this shape for like decades now.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I know. I when I was on Facebook, I certainly followed her like that. So I know she's been in this shape for many years. Okay.
So she's been training for this role for a long time, and she's one of our few African American actresses that's won for Best Acting. And if you guys could name the movie that she won the Oscar for, come on. Do you all know your Oscar history? Go back 19 years. 18 years. She won it in 2003.
Was it in 3? And the movie was 02?
The movie was in 2002, but she won it in 2003 the following year. So
all right. But come on. Okay. I mean, you shouted out the two gentlemen that helped to make True Story watchable. But you didn't mention Sheila Atom. So the actress,
the British actress, yes.
In this movie, her role is Buddha Khan, which is an interesting name. But no, neither one of those. There we go. That's my girl. All right. So she's there on your left on the screen. She's a brilliant actress, British actress. I've seen
Yeah.
her in films. She does a version of was Twelfth Night. She does a version of Twelfth Night where she plays the lead role. It is a multicultural cast version of Twelfth Night that's modernized. She's awesome in it. She's also going to be in the prequels that are coming for Game of Thrones.
Nice.
So she is. You'll see more of her. She is amazing. She
Yeah.
has to kind of humanize this otherwise quite brutal story,
Very.
which kind of borders in on trauma porn a little bit. I mean, Holly's trying to do a little bit more and humanize it, but it slips a little bit a couple times. And there's no disrespect to Holly Berry. I think she does a great job overall, but the story kind of slips into trauma porn a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
and Augustine mentioned what that movie was that she won the Oscar for. That
Wow.
is correct.
There's a very similar scene in this movie early on to Monsters Ball that kind of surprised me.
So
Uh,
warning, warning, the movie is
Betty
not
White.
for young eyes. The movie is not for young eyes. Don't
Wow.
let the kid fool you.
Wow. No, we see how children are made in this movie. My goodness. Wow.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so the trailer for Bruise is in the chat. And guys, both True Story and Bruise are both now streaming actively on Netflix. Now you are going to tell me about the Beatles and Peter Jackson.
I am. And
Are
Peter Jackson. Yeah, I understand. Not everyone loves the Beatles because not everybody loves music. So if you do love music, you have at least an appreciation for the Beatles in the way that they changed music. Um, so this is a really interesting documentary. It's in three parts. It is on Disney Plus right now. It's directed, put together by Peter Jackson, who was at the helm for the Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Mhm.
as well as some other very notable films. This is one of these projects where he had to love the Beatles, probably more than most other people, other than their direct relatives and offspring, because he went through 60 hours of footage to try to pare it down to 6 hours. And let me tell you, Val, he could have pared it down even more. It seems to go on and on and on. Um, I think it's in probably one of your many classes, since you're so well educated. People should know that when it talks about trying to put together a drama, there's a way to make a drama have a sense of time without actually having to spend the time with it. And here he kind of makes you or asks you to spend hours and hours with them trying to figure out what they're going to do. And I don't think that's necessary. All
Well,
of the hours. And I love the Beatles. I love
okay.
the music. I knew the songs. I know the stories. I know other people who have done tributes to this very the essence of this very documentary, which is the rooftop performance. This is where they make the very famous rooftop performance in London, which pretty much like shut down the city during a lunch hour. Bands from U2 on. Pretty much anybody that's ever over the last 50 years got on top of a building and performed on the roof, it's because of what the Beatles almost accidentally end up doing in the process of trying to make this album slash kind of TV show. So you get behind the scenes with them, you get all of this interaction. The camera's just running at times, so you see the interaction between Paul and John, and Yoko, Linda, Ringo, George, the managers, their friends, just people stepping in It was supposed to be a Peter Sellers movie that Ringo was going to make at the time. That was an Apple movie. So Peter Sellers kind of just wanders in to this place. So it is great. But if you're going to watch it, if you like the band, I would suggest just watching the last episode. The last
Wow.
hours, and you can skip the first 2 hours, read about it, read reviews of it, but you don't have to go there. You don't.
Wow.
And I think that you will like the Beatles more for skipping those first two episodes and just going to the last one.
Well, I will definitely jump in and say that this is footage from January 1969, and good gracious, 22 days, shot on 16 millimeter, 60 hours of footage, like you said, but 150 hours of audio, and it took Peter Jackson not one, not two, but 4 years from beginning inception to finishing the documentary, and to sync and edit it all together with his talented editors and folks. And he said the first cut, Michael, guess how long the first cut was?
How long?
18 hours.
No, nobody's doing that. No, 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 no,
There
no.
was no way they were gonna let it be.
That sounds like
let
Roots.
it be.
It sounds like Roots. No, And I'm telling you, you could just go to the last 2 hours. It's great. You're not really missing anything. You're seeing some of these songs that we know now as classic
Yes.
songs that's been covered by millions.
Yes.
I think we covered, so many times, and you're hearing some of these songs in their inception, at their inception. So they don't even know the lyrics of some of these songs. They just got the melody. Like, I don't know, what do we say here? And they're just making up words and trying to make it fit. Billy Preston, to his credit, who just went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ringo Starr inducted him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame over the last month. Billy Preston, African American, keyboard, hot artist of the '70s.
What is he?
In this. He plays.
He's known for what's that? Nothing from nothing, leave nothing.
Dun, 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 dun,
Gotta have something.
That's right.
Me.
Mm-hmm. Now, during this period, he's pretty much the fifth Beatle. During this time, to the point that on some of their records that came out on Apple, the company that they own, it says the Beatles with Billy Preston. So he is contributing greatly to this group. The one thing I think I greatly underestimated was Ringo Starr's role in everything.
Oh, good, because he's the drummer. He's the drummer.
And true to that instrument, he kind of keeps them all together. I mean,
Good.
You're thinking about, when you think about the Beatles, you think about the two leads that wrote most of the songs, and you think about this third genius there.
Paul.
Right, and you think of George as this kind of third genius. I mean, I can name, songs like Something by George Harrison, and that's like genius level right there. But then Ringo is like, I mean, everybody wants to see Ringo and hang out with Ringo, and it's like, really? I'm just like, for real? So, I mean, I don't think we would have got Let It Be or this project if Ringo's presence wasn't there.
And I don't think we would have been able to see it if the permission, because Peter went to Paul McCartney, who's still living.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recently.
At the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he literally got his blessing, because there was another movie that came out around that time in the 1970 called Let It Be. And they were trying to hype up this fight that supposedly happened between two of the band members. And when Peter let Paul know, this is not the way I'm coming at it. I saw you all were kind of play fighting, and I'm not going to be talking about that. I just want to, I'm a fan of yours, and I think other people that love your music would love to see how you all came up with, and the time it took for you all to put these music together. And he said the little trepidation that Paul had was kind of all lowered after their meeting. And pretty much Paul gave the blessing for Peter to continue on with,
Well, everybody had
all this footage.
Everybody signed off on it. I mean, when
Good.
you get the executive producer credits, they range from John and Paul, the surviving Beatles, to Olivia Harrison, who is George's widow, to Yoko
Widow.
Ono Lennon, to the children. So everybody signed off on this.
Good.
And I can see why they would. However, like I said, you don't have to watch the first two episodes. They just long and wide. It is, as is the Beatles sang and wrote about, it is a long and winding road. Okay? And you don't have to go through that road with the Beatles.
All right. Well,
You can go to Abbey Road and take a shortcut.
Coach Henry is letting you know that he loves that. He's probably going to avoid all of the whatchamacallit. I'm going to say it again just to be on the if you guys are enjoying the show, please hit the like button,
smash
and
button,
subscribe to the channel that is called the Interludes channel. And then also
the century mark.
And I definitely want to make sure that I mention this. I'm looking for it. Kevin, who is our moderator, he is the moderator with all of it. If you guys, we are so close to the 100th place.
The century mark.
Right. I think we're at like 93, 94 subscribers. Guys, if you become that 100th subscriber, that's an Amazon gift card for you. So come on. Tell your friends, share it. Tell them you want an Amazon card. There you go.
Can I be the 100th subscriber? Can I?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And thank you so much, Kevin. You put it back up here for me. That's right. So the link is there in the chat. Go ahead and become subscribe and tell a friend. Tell a friend you're trying to win an Amazon card.
Tell a phone, tell a friend. Tell the gram, Instagram. Tell them. Let them all know.
Let them all know. TikTok. Okay, now what I want to get to is the Soul Train Music Awards.
The Soul Train.
Wait a minute. Why do we... Michael, why did we just lose our choo-choo out of that, man? Come on, people all over the world.
The Soul Train.
Oh, my God.
People all over the world. See, that's your... I don't do the people. I like the original. I like the old.
Well,
the old. Speaking of old, look, there's Tisha and Tanisha.
I know. And Tisha, oh, don't do that. Tisha and Tisha... Tashina and Tisha Campbell did an excellent job hosting as well as performing. I thought they did great. Oh,
Milk and dark chocolate, love it.
And then also the princess of hip hop and R&B, that would be Ashanti. She was honored that night and she performed too. You know, on Soul Train, if they honor you, you gotta perform. So this is a performance with Ja Rule. Remember? Are you looking at her or are you looking at her thigh?
Oh, I'm looking at the, I think that's the right thigh. That's the right thigh. That's beautiful. Good for her.
Yes,
look at you.
Okay.
What I'm doing.
But I was very happy about this, man. Yes. Yes, honey. Yes. He won. Maxwell won. We all won.
Good for him. He was actually there. He just wasn't there by video like he did, like he played that other award show. Had him a video of him walking around the city singing.
I know. And I was very happy. The young lady that's standing next to him is Jasmine Sullivan. She actually Hotels won for best R&B album, and then her single won. Don't forget to come and pick up your feelings.
Yeah, your feelings. Best R&B soul female artist, Jasmine Sullivan. Album of the year, Hotels.
That's right.
Jasmine Sullivan.
That's right. So I was very happy to see those children win because I was excited. I was happy. I was mesmerized. So the Soul Train Music Awards, now it came on BET. So if you like, oh my Lord, I missed it. It's BET. They gonna be rerunning that all week.
Now, did they close the door on the show, Val, or did they leave the door open?
Oh, good Lord. So Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, aka Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic, yeah.
They opened and closed the Soul Train Music Awards on a set that looked like the 1970s set of Soul Train. I had pictures, but they didn't come out good. So
they actually left the door open to the show. They opened the door to the show and then they kept it closed to crack it a little bit so you can come back in.
Well, Coach Henry said it was a pretty cool show, especially the after party. Did you stick around for the what's that called? Pass the mic? Did you stick around for Pass the Mic?
I did not. Can you tell me all about it?
Well, the mic was being passed to people that we haven't seen in a long time. I believe Stephanie Mills opened it up with Never Knew Love Like This Before.
Hold on a second. I believe we have seen Stephanie Mills recently, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We saw her on a Versus. So I think something is happening. Oh, my cousin is here. How you doing, Fifi? She said Maxwell brought tears to her eyes with his speech. He is such an amazing creative.
She was actually listening to him, and that's something. I know you weren't. You were just watching. Was the sound on even, Val, when you were watching?
Fifi, can you say in the chat that I was paying attention? I just wasn't. Well, I was losing my mind. That's why I'm half hoarse now. But I'm just saying, you understand.
You to blame it on the turkey. You should blame it on Maxwell.
I'm not blaming nothing on Maxwell. What you trying to say? I mean, let me just bring him back. Let me see. Wait, just okay. I don't want to see her. Yeah, let's just pause. Thank you. Yes. How you doing, Maxwell? How you doing? Okay, let me stop. Somebody might be watching this.
You think that's his hair?
Of course it's his hair. Come on, it was his hair.
Do you think it's growing naturally out of his head?
Yes, it's hair growing out of his head. Thank you.
Why?
My cousin backed me up.
What makes you think that?
My cousin backed me up. Look, she says she was paying attention.
Don't you remember when Maxwell had a really close cut haircut?
That was a beautiful haircut. Yes,
I think beautiful. He still has that. And I think he kind of like, remember me? And he like put it all back on so y'all will remember what he looked like. I think it's a wig.
People are laughing at you. And now my cousin.
Exactly, he had a wig on. He had a wig on. Tina Turner wears wigs. I mean, what's the problem? What is the problem?
Can somebody help me?
We can't say Maxwell had a wig on.
Can you help me? That was his hair. That was not a wig. That was not a wig. That was not an attachment.
Why can't it be a wig? What's wrong with him wearing a wig? I don't have a problem with that.
That is not a wig.
Oh God, look at it. Look at the. Oh my God, he's got something on his head. Is it alive? Is it alive? Did you feed it? I bet he fed it before he went out there.
I cannot with you right now. I cannot.
I hope he fed it, because I mean, you keep something like that up late at night, or I guess maybe you don't feed it late at night, right? We learned that from Steven Spielberg.
Excuse me.
He is blessed with a full head of hair.
That brother is blessed with a full head of hair. That's what she said.
If you see me next week and I have a full set of hair, I'll be blessed with it too, okay? I'll be blessed that I could afford it. That's like Malaysian body weight.
Come on, y'all. Y'all. Surfboard. And wait a minute. Mr. Coach Henry agrees with you. He says he had on a wig.
He had a wig on. What's wrong with that? Prince used to wear wigs. Prince wore wigs.
Yes. He wore heels, so I don't pass. I don't pass nothing past him.
Look. Maxwell was a model. Okay, we know that he used to be a model before he went into singing. He was a model for the Gap. They still had it on a contract. I used to go into the Gap and look up like, dang. So those clothes on that hanger gonna make me look like that for real? Yeah, I'll buy that $50 shirt then. Okay, it didn't work, Val. It didn't work. Okay.
Let's not play the game. Mm-hmm.
That's what the Gap was doing. They were like, our clothes are so good. You put on your clothes, you look like that brother. Like, really?
Oh, like Charlie Wilson
Like
of the Gap
Maxwell?
Band?
No, like Matt. No, I mean the Gap. I mean the clothing store, Banana Republic
Oh, the
Gap.
Gap, the clothing store.
Maxwell
Okay.
was he was a model. He did a whole line with them.
Oh, he
Look,
sure did.
so that I mean implicitly they were saying you put on our clothes, you look like Maxwell. I
No,
tried it. It didn't work. It didn't take.
moving on.
Like his wig did. His wig took. It looked real good.
Wait a minute. You got the audience cracking up. You got the audience cracking up at you. All right.
He did.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move on. And now, unfortunately, in the fashion world, I believe we lost this young man.
We did.
Virgil.
We did. We lost somebody that most people didn't know who he was, which is really interesting, especially since he had achieved so much in such a short amount of time. The brother was from Rockford / Chicago. He had attended classes, IIT early on. He was into architecture, designing, and from designing, he went into fashion. Yes, rest in power for sure. Uh, he hooked up with some, very influential people in the music world. If you don't know his fashion, Off White, or if you've never heard of Louis Vuitton, which
Yep. So
he was
our
in
cousin
charge
Felicia
of on the
has.
inside. So he was the designer for Louis Vuitton. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good. The New York Times article is pretty good. Just to kind of go to it, to borrow from it. It starts out. So John Camarca says, in recent years, it can appear often as if there were several Virgil Ablohs, all working at the same time. There were multiple annual collections of Louis Vuitton, where he was the artistic director of menswear, and Off White, his own label, which he had founded while still in the orbit of Kanye West. There were seemingly endless collaborations with brands as desperate as Nike, IKEA, Evian, Moa, Vitra, Chrome Hearts, and more. So when he passed, unfortunately, at a very early age from a rare form of heart cancer, which I didn't even know that kind of thing existed.
I
Uh,
know.
this gentleman received shout outs and rest in pieces from pretty much any and every influential person in fashion and music. And he was, for Valerie and I, he was someone from Chicago. And I gotta say, I did not know very much about him, and I'm quite surprised by that. The fact that he worked with Kanye West, I am not surprised about. Kanye is still a very influential figure in fashion, no matter how many wild and ridiculous things he says and does. And men's fashion has pretty much picked up the swagger and the aesthetic of cool, which has always been there and been sort of the language of African American, urban African Americans. And he kind of brought it and refined it in this way for luxury brands, which was, pretty substantial. Going back deeper into a Chicago Tribune article, they talked about the fact that he had recently had, within the last couple of years, he had an exhibit at MCA at the Museum of Contemporary Art. So he is a true artist in just about every respect. And if you all still don't know his influence, he also helped design album covers for
I
artists such
know. I
as
heard.
Pharrell, Kanye West, Young Thug. I mean, he was a designer in every sense of the word, an artist in every sense of the word. So rest in power. We're certainly his legacy lives on because he inspired other people, other people of color to enter into the fashion world.
I
Uh,
will. I will say that I saw a wonderful photo on Twitter of him and Chadwick Boseman, and I found that picture to
mm,
be somewhat heartbreaking
yeah,
because, the same way, Chadwick also battled with pancreatic cancer in silence and was an excellent artist. Virgil Abloh, he 1980, 2021, he was only 41 years young.
Definitely.
Praying for his family.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And speaking of health,
Yeah.
all of us gonna have to really be careful. There is a new variant out there for COVID called Omicron, and I'm mentioning it for a couple of reasons. One of which is that no matter what you're doing, no matter what your ideas are about your own personal health, it's just going to be a little bit trickier over the next couple of months before people figure out exactly what this is and where what it could do. Now, shout out, and I mean it. I'm not being ironic or satirical here. South Africa. Who knew? I didn't know the South African medicine was so advanced. I know they are a world power. They're a world class nation, but the ability for them to kind of pick out exactly, and that was what my question is. I want, in some ways, it's almost like they're being punished for identifying this variant as quickly as they did. They're restricting travel to South Africa. South Africans who are abroad are unable to kind of get home. And I don't know if you should be punished for doing the job that you did to help alert the world of what's happening. I thought the problem was when this coronavirus came out that the world wasn't alerted. That was the problem then.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a country that's doing it, and it seems like they're going to be suffering for actually bringing the alarm bell.
Yeah, and it's important that we let each other know what's happening in these individual companies, because unfortunately it is something that we just have to stay vigilant on. Because as we've gone through those waves where we have, okay, the numbers are starting to go down, and we could start to take away some of the restrictions, and then you have to put them right back into place because of different variants that have come out, which is really, really horrible. Kevin, our moderator, has placed in the chat where you guys can look up the article that Michael referred to in this. Well, guys, we'll keep you
Yeah,
updated
and the other
on
part of
the
the story
Omicron
is
thing.
this. The other part of the story is this, which you'll find out from that article and from some others, is the fact that South Africa had vaccines and were vaccinating their citizens, but the surrounding countries around South Africa did not have access to the vaccine the way that they should have. So imagine if the U.S. is doing what we're doing, but Canada doesn't have access to the vaccine, or Mexico doesn't have access to the vaccine at each side of our border. I mean, that's not going to help us out. It would help us out if everybody around us also had that access. And you could debate whether or not vaccines and all that stuff. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about they didn't have access to it. They couldn't say no. They didn't get a choice.
Right.
Okay. Because they didn't have it. So now it's like, well, we should help to bring vaccine to these Southern African countries. Yet you think? I mean, when you don't, it doesn't just hurt them. At some point, it begins to affect all of us. Right. And thank goodness we got like a really smart band of politicians in America. They figured out how to keep us all safe. I think their plan is to raise gas prices so high that no one can actually go out and interact with other people. That way we have to stay inside, and then we'll be safe because of that.
Yeah, I looked at the gas prices in your former stumping ground, Mr. Wamble, and I believe when I talked to my cousin a couple of days ago, I think he was paying close to $5 a gallon in
you pay
Cali.
$5-6. You pay $5-6 a gallon for gas. You're not gonna go nowhere either. You start calling into work like, yeah, I'm sick.
I'm working from home. I'm gonna work from home, so that's just how that's gonna go.
Absolutely, because it'll be cheaper, right? Cheaper to keep it. It'd be cheaper to stay home and try to do work than to get in that car.
Yeah. Well, whether you are vaxxed or not vaxxed, Augustine says just be safe always.
So that's why, and I know, and that's why I said it very very carefully, very specifically. I think the problem that was happening in those Southern African countries is they didn't have the access to it. They couldn't say their citizens didn't have the ability to have a choice in what they wanted to do because they didn't have access to the actual vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And why didn't they have access to it? Now you're going into equity, the lack of equity.
Yeah, so I'm hoping
$7 a gallon. I'm staying home.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm good. And thank you so much. Hashtag facts. Thank you. That's my cousin.
That's right, boy. Yeah, you ain't gotta lock me down. Gas gets to $6-7. I'm gonna lock myself down. Okay. We'll take care of it. I don't need it. Dr. Fauci ain't gotta tell me to stay inside. If gas is $7-8 a gallon, I'm gonna stay inside, buddy. It's a long walk to work. I might get there one of them days.
Oh my God.
One of them darn days.
Well, I will definitely say this to wrap things up. This particular episode of Talk on Tuesdays is brought to you by Coach Glass. It's never too late to create the life of your dreams. Please feel free to visit coachglass.com to book your free assessment now. Her classes are starting in January 2022 because tomorrow,
Classes.
Thank you. And tomorrow,
2022.
right, and tomorrow we have it'll be December 1st. Literally, we have 32 days left in the year. Do you realize what's going on?
Do I realize? Yeah, I don't know. Do you realize what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I do realize this, that tomorrow being December 1st, sometimes we forget because we have fancy, shiny, worldwide diseases. We forget about the old ones. Tomorrow, December 1st, is World AIDS Day. So,
Right.
something to think about. There are people that, we see them on the commercials, right? They're still taking the medicines and doing the things. And certainly, thoughts are with them,
Yeah, and I used to always do a photo for World AIDS Day with this non-for-profit that I was always with. Today was today was the day of Giving Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
I also highlighted on our Facebook group to give to Clarice Associates because that was our podcast from last week. This week, we're going to be highlighting a young lady. Her name is Whitney St. Fleur, and she does a candle company, handmade candles called Wit by Wit. And it's, because it's the Wick by Wit.
That's cool. I like the name.
That's very catchy. And so
that sounds lit.
So she is lighting up the world with her business, and I love that.
You did there.
You saw what I did. You saw that. You saw that. Right?
Lighting it up.
Oh my gosh! We light up the world. We light up the world.
You light up my life.
Oh my! Did we just do the "You Light Up My Life" song? Did we just do that old school song from the 70s? Seriously,
I did it.
What's your name, Michael?
My name is not Valarie Johnson, but yours is, because this is Interludes Extra, Talk on Tuesday with Valarie Johnson.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. Here we go. Woo!
Gracias.
Good night, y'all. Have a good one.